I am unreasonably excited about a block on my calendar that happens every year. In past years, it's been a have to do. This year, I'm feeling strongly the get to do. Why? Because every year, year after year, on a weekday night, sometime in early September, we clergy gather with new preschool parents downstairs for back to school night. There's a tour of the classrooms, a review of protocols and policies, and of course, a welcome. Wes, Aliza, and I have been alternating that spot, and when it is Wes's turn, he has a simple and sparkling Torah that leaves people breathless. When it's his turn, he always welcomes families with the same words. And I'll never forget the first time he did it, when his oldest, Nat, went off to college. He said, "My son went to this preschool. I sat right where you are sitting. A few weeks ago, I dropped him off at college. Take in this moment, because snap, and your little cuties, before you know it, will be grown and waving goodbye." Well, this year, I get to say, my daughter went to this preschool. I sat where you are sitting. This time, I get to say, a few weeks ago, I dropped her off at college. Take in this moment, because I'm so excited for preschool back to school night, not only because my script is already written, thank you very much, Wes, or even because of the preciousness of being able to give over my own testimony of how quickly time flies. But I also realized that it's because of a personal gift of the many years that Wes has done this moment since. The years that he has said, our youngest has moved out. We have an empty nest. And you know what? Turns out it's actually quite good. Or my kids have jobs. They're making a life in New York or San Francisco or LA. Or this season, my son is newly married. The ever-increasing circle that he has shared year after year reminds me that this moment is not my swan song into the land of parental obscurity. Instead, I too can savor today, because from this moment on, because the truth is, no matter where we are on life's path, there's always a snap moment, blessings that are flown away too quickly, and pains of what is lost, pains that persist, and blessings yet to come. To be alive is to carry this paradox that every moment brings a new loss and a new gift. The tension between the wistful first verse of Fiddler on the Roof's sunrise, sunset. I don't remember growing older. When did they? And the wisdom of the last, sing it with me if you know it. One season following another, laden with happiness and tears. We hold both. We hold that so deeply in each and every moment. You know, when Queen Elizabeth passed away this past week, the reflections that have been coming in every moment since were tributes that have centered around her steadfastness. But what struck me most about her was how deeply she got this timeless wisdom. Now, given that she sat on the throne for 70 years, it might sound strange to hear me cite the late Queen of England as an example of how quickly time flies. After all, when Elizabeth came to the throne, her first prime minister was Winston Churchill, who was born in 1874. Her last prime minister, Liz Truss, was born in 1975, a span of 101 years. Copious time. And yet, within her lifetime, technology transformed the world that she was born into at a dizzying pace. Culture and community, everything changed and shifted. And again, she has embodied for her nation and for the world that we can endure the loss. We can endure hard times by remembering that no matter what is behind us or how quickly the sands of time have slipped through our hands, that there is still an opportunity to make something of the moment we are in now. She did that stunningly, steadfastly for so long. Monarchy, by its definition, passes through loss. Famously, Queen Elizabeth was overseas, far from home with her beloved husband Philip, when she learned of her father's passing, thus making her queen. Mourning and coronation went hand in hand. Years later, as the world mourned after 9/11, she softly shared her hard-earned wisdom. Grief is the price we pay for love. You certainly don't have to be the Queen of England for this to be true. As she said, although we each lead different lives, the experience of growing older, the joys and the emotions which it brings are familiar to all of us. The experience that no matter how much time we or our loved ones are granted at any age or any stage, it flies too quickly, is shared by all of us, no matter what our station. Indeed, this is the teaching at the heart of a mystery in our Parsha this week. Generations of rabbis have puzzled over a mitzvah in the middle of our Torah reading, to shoo away the mother bird before gathering an egg from a nest. The mitzvah itself is intriguing enough, but what is particularly odd is that it is one of 3 places in our Torah, twice in our Parsha alone, that we are promised in return for doing something in a particular way, long life. The other 2 cases make some sense. Honoring your mother and father, being able to keep honest weights and measures, integrity, caring for those who cared for you, that can extend the impact of your life. But shooing away the mother bird? Confounding. More troubling yet, the Talmud records an incident when a young boy shoos away a mother bird at his father's request. It should have been a biblical blessing slam dunk. A double portion of the promise, though, was dashed in real life as he fell from the tree to his death. There are no good answers to this theological nightmare. And yet, in telling this troubling and painful tale, the Talmud pushes us to ask, what are we meant to get out of linking this action of shooing away a mother bird from the nest with long life? Perhaps not that the length of our days will be long, but the strength of our days. None of us can control the facts. Nests do not stay the same. Time doesn't just run, it flies, and no moment lasts forever. But we can control what we do and who we are in each moment. We can exercise compassion. We can hold on to the blessing, to the wholeness of what we experience in any given time. And we can make meaning in each moment as an opportunity for presence and for purpose. As Queen Elizabeth said in her own steady, plain-spoken way back in 2002, I know, she said, that the only way to live my life is to try to do what is right, to take the long view, to give my best in all that the day brings, and to put my trust in God. Life is fleeting. Whether we have 96 years, 120, or just a few, each season passes before we are fully ready. Baby smiles give way to toddler tantrums, give way to bar mitzvahs, and snap, they're off. But when I sent out an email this week inviting our members to come to a blessing over a newly empty nest, a friend replied that she prefers to call it an open nest. Sometimes the mother bird we need to shoo is us, so that we can remember sunrise, sunset is real, but so is this moment right now. Shabbat shalom.